Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're all doing great. We're in the kitchen today making the perfect baked potato. Now, first of all, settle down, keto people. I can already hear you screaming in the background. I'm not switching over to the other side. I'm fully aware potatoes are not the best option when you're doing low carb, but let's face it, we're not always going to be cooking for the low carb crowd. You're going to be cooking for your carbivore family and friends, not to mention the fact that maybe your boss is going to come for dinner one night. You really want him having farts all the way home because he ate cauliflower rice for the first time? I don't think so. So there's just going to be times when you'll need to know how to make things besides the low carb and besides the keto. And today is one of those days. I'm going to show you my method of making the perfect baked potato. So go ahead and wash your hands and let's get started. So when I say this is the perfect baked potato, it's not arrogance. I just mean that, in my opinion, this is the perfect way to make it. It comes out fluffy on the inside, it's got a nice crispy outer shell, and we're gonna put the salt on the outside, which is a nice little touch that is not usually done. So let's get started. As is the case with most of the things I like to make, super simple. You're going to need a baked potato. Now, this is Texas size. This is a big one. I don't go outside Texas much. For all I know, this is how they are in every state, but I know this is how big they are in Texas. So you want to get a potato that is about this size. If it's smaller, you might require less cooking time. And if somehow it's bigger than this, if you're in Ireland and you guys have made a comeback with potatoes, then you might want to let it go longer. But we'll get into that on the back end. Right now, let's just worry about the prep. We're going to need a potato. You're going to need some oil. I'm using canola oil today. You can use vegetable oil. And you're also going to need salt. I'm using a coarse ground sea salt. And then that's it. And then you're going to need, your devices, a fork, some tongs. But right now, what you're going to do before you start anything is you're going to take your potato and scrub it. Just get all the dirt and stuff off the outside, give it a nice little wash, and then make sure you dry it completely. Once that is done, move it over to a plate to keep things clean. And you're going to take your oil, and let me take my ring off. Don't be afraid to get messy with this because that's just the best way to do it. You're going to take your potato, and first you are going to use your fork to make some holes. Why do we make holes? Obviously to let steam out. But also we want to do the holes first because if you put the oil on first, you run the risk of slipping and stabbing yourself in the hand. No fun. Never fun, but definitely not fun when you're trying to make a potato. So first we're going to go all Norman Bates and just start stabbing. I like to make about 4 stabs per side, and I'm talking about 4 sides. Like so, and like so. Now, prior to this, actually, I should say, when you are cleaning your potato, go ahead and preheat your oven to 350. 350 is what you want your oven to be at. So we've stabbed our potato to death, just in case it wasn't already dead. You know it is now. And we're going to take our oil and just pour on like so. All right? So we're going to take this, and we're going to take our hands and get them messy and make sure that the potato is completely coated. This is what gives it the crispy outside and also what allows the salt to adhere to the potato. Okay, so now it's all nice and greasy, looking like someone at the beach in the mid-80s. And through video magic, I have washed my hands off camera, so that's why they're nice and not as greasy. So you should do the same. Next step, we're gonna take our salt and just give it a good sprinkling on all sides. And you can use your tongs since you just cleaned your hands. You don't want to get them dirty again. Now, why did I put the salt on this side when I should have it over here? Who knows? I have no plan. So we're just going to keep on going. I know it seems like a lot of salt, but don't worry. They're not going to eat all of it. And you can brush off quite a bit when it's done. But trust me, you just want to get it nice and good and salty. And that's it. That's all the prep. Now, I'm not going to show the oven part of it, right? But what you want to do at this point is you want to take your potato and you want to grab it with your tongs, keep the plate underneath so that everything stays clean. You don't want to get your floor dirty. And you want to open your oven, put the potato directly on the rack. And you want to have the rack in the center. I should have said that in the beginning. But you want to have the rack in the center to get the good even heating. And you're going to put your potato directly on the rack. Now, here's another pro tip. before you put your potato in, have a second rack underneath with a piece of foil so that it catches anything that drips off of the potato, right? So you've got your center rack in the middle, and you've got your lower rack underneath with the piece of foil on it, and we're gonna put the potato on the center rack and let it bake on its own. You could do this for up to as many potatoes as you have, 4, 6, 2, whatever. But we're gonna put it in a 350-degree oven, and we're gonna let it go. I mean, it depends on the ovens, it depends on the size of the potato, as I was mentioning before. But I would say start looking at the 1 hour and 15-minute mark. That's the perfect spot for my personal oven, okay? When I do 1 potato or 2 potatoes, I usually do it at an hour and 15 minutes, and that is just perfect. But we'll get into detail later about what you want to look for when you take it out, how the consistency should be. But for now, that's the next step. I'll see you on the other side after an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so we have pulled the perfect potato out of the oven and let it cool for a little bit because it's a hot potato. And we are joined by the perfect person who you all thought was long dead by now, but he's alive and well. He's just been working very hard, but I caught him on a night off, and so he's here to help us finish out the potato. At this point, this is what completes what I would call the perfect potato, meaning that it is pillowy soft on the inside, we hope. It is crunchy, crusty on the outside with the salt that you can see that's now baked on. And from here on out, it's whatever you prefer. If you like it dry, if you like it with butter, if you like to make it into like a little mashed potato with some cream, whatever you like to do. But we're gonna show you Mark's favorite method for dressing it. Now let me show you, before we get to that, the easiest way to prepare your potato for your guests to dress it how they like. And you basically want to just cut across. Now, if you've cooked this all the way through, it shouldn't be hard at all to do, even with just a butter knife. So we're just going to do one long cross that way, and then another cut in the opposite direction, right? And from there, you're going to take both ends with your thumb and index finger and just push towards the middle so that the potato just pops right open.
That steam.
Yeah. It's gonna melt everything. That way you get all of your fixins down on the inside. So, speaking of that, Mark is here, as we said, and he's going to show me his method for dressing the potatoes. So, these are all the things you like, right?
These are my favorite things.
These are the favorite things. So, which am I gonna put on first?
You do butter first.
Okay, so we'll do butter. I've got about a tablespoon, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll do butter. I guess that can melt, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then what next?
Then cheese after that.
Cheese. Now we're using a Colby Monterey Jack cheese because that's got the flavor of cheddar, but it melts easily like the Jack. So, about like that?
Yep.
Is that good?
Good, yep.
Okay. And then what next?
Sour cream on top.
Sour cream. There we go. Also about a tablespoon. Is that all right?
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. And then what?
And then bacon bits.
Bacon bits. I made this bacon. So this is the bacon pieces.
I brought it home.
That's true. That's a good point. So about how much bacon?
That looks good.
Like that? Okay.
And then last but not least, some chives.
Chives. So, and interesting you say that. So we call these chives. These are actually green onions, sometimes called scallions chopped up. It's the green part. But chives are actually a whole separate spice. But it doesn't really matter. Or an herb, I guess, really, you'd call it an herb. But we like the green onions. They have a nice crunch, a nice flavor. So how much of those?
Looks good.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay. Put that there. And then salt and pepper, I assume?
Pepper.
Just pepper. Okay.
Just pepper.
Because I guess you get enough salt from like the
on
bacon.
potato.
And we use the fresh ground pepper.
It's good.
Is that good?
Yep.
But like that?
Yay!
Yay!
Perfect
Okay, do you want to try it or do you not want to try it?
I'll try it.
Okay, here's your fork.
Alright. I want to choose. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, we'll see. Does it look like it's cooked all the way through?
Oh yeah, it looks delicious. Mmm.
Is it really hot?
It's delicious.
Are you lying?
No.
Okay, good.
It's not really hot.
Good.
Perfect temperature.
Yay,
Very
okay.
good.
Perfect baked potato. So hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did enjoy it, I would appreciate a like. If you want to see more like this, please consider subscribing. Click the bell so you know when I upload new videos. And in the meantime, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, bye.